And there we have it, folks. We got an exciting show for you today. Welcome to the Baxter Effect podcast. Your host, John Baxter. And we're going to be talking about really important world events, breaking news, anywhere from the Board of Peace to the Doomsday Clock, how we got into this situation in Minnesota. And I have a special guest as well, Don DeJesus, that will be joining. And it's going to be an exciting call and show that we have for you guys today. I'm going to bring Don on.
Hey, John.
Hey, good morning, good afternoon, Don. I thought it was important to get people involved in the sense of like all this political stuff they're hearing. You're either a right or you're a left. We're completely divided, and the people from the left just don't understand the right, and that will probably never change. But we got to put the facts out there. Some of the stuff that we're hearing, we're gonna talk history. We're gonna talk about how this got here, and from there, we're going to talk about where we are going. Why is all this stuff happening? I guess you can call it geopolitics. Like, why are we taking over Venezuela? Why are we looking at Greenland? Why are we in this position? The average person doesn't even know history, and our school books never even taught us the true history. And so, what we'll talk about today, Don, I'd like for you to cover some of the one of these events in regards to if you want to start with after World War II and kind of get into how it got to Black Lives Matter and why this immigrant lives matter is becoming something important.
Yeah, after World War II in 1947 is actually when what created the Doomsday Clock. And this is what was just yesterday. It was just upgraded from 89 seconds to midnight to 85 seconds to midnight. And this clock is a clock that measures the end times relatively to the Bible, everything relating to the four horsemen and this mystery war that everybody's waiting for, that everybody's afraid of. This whole thing with this doomsday clock. It was created to represent the next world war. It was right after World War II that it was the Atomic Board of Science got together and they created this metric system. And it's a whole bunch of measurements that measures the end times according to science and politics. So the doomsday clock was just upgraded, and this is relative right now to the war that we're in with Russia and Ukraine. This is all mystery now. This is 1.5. Donald Trump was said that was in the news that Donald Trump said there was over 1.5 million dead. He says thousands are dying a day. When you do the math, it's just insane, so unacceptable. It's just if anybody goes here and shoots somebody, they're going to be arrested the next day. If they shoot if they fly a missile over the city, they're going to be arrested the next day. How can this guy kill millions of people and get away with it? And every country, we don't want to touch the big bully because he got more nuclear warheads than us. Totally, totally, totally unacceptable. This man should be arrested, in jail, and go into jail for war crimes. This is not a war. This is abuse. Total 1,000% abuse. But if it's the end times, the four horsemen, everybody's wondering this four horsemen. If we wanted this, this is a great mystery. The first horse was a white horse. He received the crown. The crown was called Corona. In the Bible, means crown. If the coronavirus was this first horse, the Bible says that he has a crown, he has a bow, he goes forth conquering and double conquering. So is this the mystery of the four horsemen beginning the second horse? So if Corona was the first horse, listen to this. He had the bow. These are the viruses, the vaccines. Vaccine 1, vaccine 2, booster 1, booster 2. So if this first horse was the coronavirus, it was a global event, shut down the whole world. The second horseman coming right behind it would be the black horse, who has an unstoppable sword. And this represents what we're talking about right now with Russia, with World War III potentially at our table. This can kick off World War III, and it's right in alignment with the Bible of the four horsemen. The what would happen after that is the pair of scales that everybody's waiting for, John. The global reset. That's the third horseman. We hear people calling us all the time, waiting for the 6,000 patents, the med beds to be released, and this is all part of this timing with the global reset, with the black horse, with the pair of scales that's going to reset the whole earth and go into this 7 years of tribulation that ushers in the end times. But these are kind of mysteries of even what's going on. John, you got something you want to share?
Yeah. So basically, based on just geopolitical facts and the history of our country, right? We had a World War II. World War II happened. What did that mean? Well, when they were trying to figure out what currency to use, and because we won the war, we were able to put the barrels of oil instead of gold. All the currency in the world was based on the petrodollar. Well, that ended just a few years ago. So there's been a mad dash scramble to take over the centralized bank, because we've had basically a new world order that was trying to control and take over every country and become the rulers of the world. And so what happened was, all the stuff that's going on, why Donald Trump is creating this board of peace, is because the UN failed. We paid all the bills. The American taxpayer paid for the United Nations. They paid for NATO. Without us controlling the world, basically that's why we get to have Greenland. You want to play with NATO? We were the ones funding NATO since the inception. And basically that's the world army. And when we look at the geopolitical aspect of this, America put itself and its taxpayers and the people of this country on the line. And the facts are that America truly does have more say than any other country in the world, because the American taxpayer was the one that funded this whole materialistic side of humanity. We're the ones that created new laws. We're the ones that had an actual, per se, freedom. And every other country copies us. And they want what we have. So to destroy our own country, just because the elites want to destroy our country, and put Donald Trump in a position where he looks like a fool. He is not a fool. He's a smart guy. He's fighting this understanding where, since we were the ones that put the bill on the line for NATO, the United Nations, since we're paying for it, don't you think that we as taxpayers and we as a country have some say at which goes on in the world? Now that the petrodollar is gone, you have these three countries: France, UK, Germany, Canada, Russia, and China. This is basically the BRICS. They're starting their own currency outside of the control of the U.S. dollar. Donald Trump is making decisive action so that people in America can hold on to the goodwill that we had already put out on the street. And so, yeah, I support the president 100%, all the way from the what you're seeing in terms of getting the illegals, not only just the illegals, but just the more so to get the criminals off the street. Not one liberal says, "Oh, what happened to the 300,000 kids under Biden that were sold off?" No one even cares. All they care about is creating the riots and painting an image of anarchy within our own country. So, yeah, we're in a situation, and if you're from a different country and you have friends that are transgender, yeah, you think like a liberal. We understand what you think. It's nothing new. This is what we were taught in school, and you're not really truly that intelligent. You're just following what you were told, but you're not thinking outside the box. You're not thinking in aspects of world history. Likely you know nothing about that. And likely you think of, if you're a liberal, you think of just sex. You think of sex 24 hours a day. You think that your ideology around sex is your most important aspect. And that's what we see in the liberal agenda. That's why when we see, the different type of depositions, they can't even tell if a biological male can have a baby. Can a biological male have a baby? The liberals can't answer that question because it breaks their whole narrative. So if you're on that team, you need a lot to learn. You need to wake up. It's not our job to wake you up, but if you need to be woken up, you might want to start studying. And you want to start rioting. You want to start pulling guns out. You want to bring a gun to a rally. You'll see what happens. And this country is not going to be putting up with elites. We're not going to be putting up with the George Soros who is funding these rioters. Those days are done. We were stopping the border. There's no more drugs pouring into this country. And I got to say, because of the geopolitical aspect that's going on in the world, don't you think that, we want to put America first? Because guess what? We see it time and time again. This is jealousy, world jealousy. Everyone wants to take down America. It's the prize. It was in control. We've done good since World War II. We've been the powerhouse of the world. Everyone wants to copy us. Everyone wants American technology and to just destroy everything we created. That's why we're seeing Donald Trump stand up for us taxpayers. Don't let me get into Minnesota. Minnesota, oh man, the most corrupt state in the country. Thank God someone was like, look, this has got to be the most corrupt state in the country. The judges are paid off in Minnesota. The legal system, it's the worst legal system you've ever seen. The George Floyd situation, that didn't have to happen. But look, it cost us over $2 billion to fix a George Floyd riot, which may not have happened even possibly.
10,000 arrests.
Idiots. Yeah, I mean, Don, cover some of this stuff that that's going on in Minnesota, all the way from the lady that suggests that
well, this is kind of an interesting thing. These two people that just recently died by this ICE event, the reason why there's so much pressure is because of this whole George Floyd event that kicked off the Black Lives Matter. And the reason they don't want this pressure and the reason they don't want this there, because they don't want to have another big riots, another $2 billion in destruction, and having it be called Immigrants' Lives Matter. Could you imagine that, John? Replay of Donald Trump's last 4 years when he was in office because of a killing unnecessarily. I don't know. Everybody's on edge with these ICE agents, and it is this immoral cleansing? Is it unrighteous cleansing? They came in unrighteously, but maybe there's a better way. What do you think?
Well, I basically think when it comes to the law that we have to let our law enforcement do their job. Especially, they're not even really going after illegal aliens. If they can find some, they're going after, but they're going after criminal, illegal aliens first. And so they need to get out of the way. No one wants to see someone get killed. But the thing is, if you play with law enforcement and you break the law, it doesn't matter if it's an American citizen or an illegal alien. If you hear me, lefty, that's the honest truth. If you break the law, whether you break the law or an illegal breaks the law, this has nothing to do with your ideology, and people do care. So it's not like people don't care about illegals and their comfort. Hell, we're giving them, in Minnesota, we're giving illegal aliens $100 billion a year, over the last 5 years, and free stealing of our taxpayer dollars.
Yeah.
So wake up, literally, lefty, you have no understanding of this reality. And basically, if you want to be the one that takes care of the $500 a night hotel rooms for someone that's going to steal an election and vote Democrat, by all means, put a bag over your head and go hide out in the corner. The truth of it is,
there needs to be a real reset for this whole immigrant system. And there's no other way than give people a 1 year window to get a free green card without any, just let everybody in. You got this 1 year window. And if you don't get in when this 1 year, everybody's checking in and you're becoming a U.S. citizen, you already got into the United States. You made it. You're in. So just let them stay in now. Give everybody a green card. Let us live together. We got enough space. We only got, how much territory we got here compared to other territories. We got so much land here. We can have a whole city of immigrants, literally. But this is a real fact. We should have a real reset, give everybody a card, give everybody a time to come into and say, here, you got this time, check in right now, file all the paperwork, stop fighting the system, let's reset the whole system. And then after that day, you get caught, you go back to go where you came from.
Yeah, Don, I'm with you. Tom Homan. It very is ironic that Tom Homan was received a Medal of Honor from Obama. He's not allowed to do his job as a Republican under a Republican president, but he's allowed to do his job under a Democratic president. So it's really a two-way street. You're either sleeping at the wheel and allowing someone else to drive your ship, or you're awake. And if you're awake, you'll realize what is really going on. And when we see the geopolitical aspect of us wanting Iceland and Greenland and getting closer to taking control of the Western Hemisphere, it's an important military and protection move. You don't think China wants our lunch, Russia? Everyone wants to destroy America. Everyone's jealous of America. Everyone wants to get rid of America. They do this. They've been doing this. They've been slowly destroying America, and and getting votes, stealing elections. This is great news that Donald Trump is standing up and fighting for all this. And the facts of the matter are, like, people need to realize we are the media. We are the voice. We can't rely on the mainstream media voice. And as you see, there's a lack of trust. There's just lies. This was a court of law. They really are giving one side of the story, and they're never giving both sides of the story. And I care about this country. I care about the people. I care about the taxpayers. I believe that what we're witnessing is this next era, and the next era is more freedom. The next era is fiscal conservativeness. This is not giving billions to terrorist organizations. It's not about stealing taxpayer dollars and giving it to terrorists. We've been witnessing this for over many years, and it's really coming out. We talked about the petrodollar. We talked about the reset. We talked about a couple things, but after World War II, they created this thing called a doomsday clock. Don, could you cover a little bit of that?
Yeah, that's the whole thing that we were talking about here with this doomsday clock. It was the closest ever it's been to this World War III, and I think that's the whole meaning of Donald Trump even creating this board of peace right now. And the board of peace has about 35 countries that are connected, and the whole meaning of this board of peace was to reestablish the land of Gaza. But it's really turned into something much more. It's almost like the next United Nations developing, and Donald Trump is the chair of this whole board. So he's like controlling this next move, like on the political playboard, recreating the United Nations, because you hear him talking about how he's disgusted with the United Nations because they're not united at all and they're not really helping. And Donald Trump stepping up to the plate and creating a whole new wave. And if you want to get on board to the new United Nations, it'll be called the Board of Peace. John?
Yeah, and think about that. The United Nations was a corrupt organization. The World Health Organization is a corrupt organization. The AMA is a corrupt organization. The FDA is a corrupt organization. Donald Trump steps in. We had the WEF, World Economic Forum, at Davos. He's got everyone on their heels. This world is for the taking. And it's almost like there's a situation happening where the elites, which are less than 1%, control over 90% of the wealth and control us. And they do this by means of inversion. We've seen it with the food pyramid. The food pyramid now, under RFK, has fats, oils, and protein as the number one food source that you need most each and every day. And in the past, they created all these chronic health diseases because most even kids, 60 to 70% of kids have a chronic health disease due to the fake foods, the fraking foods. These are just man-made foods. Um, they're ultra processed foods, plus they're full of sugar. What we find is that this type of understanding, this type of attitude, is really destroying our country from a health perspective, and the inversion of truth has been exposed. So no longer are we getting mostly grains, wheats. We've never needed sugars. Like, this is the thing. They're putting sweets, sugars, and grains at the top of the food pyramid the last 20, 30, 40 years. Now the truth is coming out. It's inverted. Fats and oils and proteins convert to glucose, right, Don? Did you cover some of this?
Everything.
Glucose?
Even if it's one drop of sugar or one drop of flour, it turns into glucose. And that's where it gets its name. It turns into glue. It's turning everything in your body into glue. It turns your lymphatic fluids into glue. Your blood becomes sticky. This is how you have developed the heart attack. It's the brick and mortar. The calcium flakes is the brick, and the sticky blood with the cholesterol in it is the mortar that closes in the arteries and causes the number one killer in the entire earth, arterial cirrhosis, hardening of the arteries. And it's usually systemic. If it's happening in your heart, it's happening in your brain, it's happening in your phallus, causing ED. These are systemic clogs. And the only way to reverse it is, like John was just talking about, the top shelf oils in your terrain every day, a little microdosing, like olive oil, avocado oil, coconut oils. These are the top shelf oils that marinate in the sun day and night. And we write about this in the book. We have one thing we talked about here is you printed it out. This is called it's in the book here, page 150. It's a longevity diet, and talking about how we can reverse our terrain. In this book, there's one salad has every vitamin there is, every mineral, every essential amino acid, all the amino acids, all the essential fatty acids, and all the electrolytes. So I'm over here. You can see that if you want to check that out in the book here. 333 benefits of grounding. You can call us up here, get it at the anti-aging bed for $50. We talk all about this. We talk about the end times here a little bit. We talk about the benefits, what everybody's waiting for. This global reset is one of the number one things people talk to us and they call. We get hundreds and hundreds of calls throughout the month, and our team is always answering these calls. You got the med beds of the future. Where is these med beds? We're all waiting for these med beds, and everybody's waiting for these med beds to be released at the global reset. And the global reset is when this whole thing happens. They call it Nasara Jasara, and we talk about it in the book. This stands for National Economic Security and Recovery Act. It's when your taxes are reset. So all the years you've been paying taxes, you're supposed to get all that money back. You're only supposed to pay tax one time on your home, things like that. You're overtaxed, just like we're double taxed on our income tax. Why are we getting taxed on our income tax and then getting sales tax? We're quadruple taxed, overtaxed, overburdened by the government that only cares about their deficits. John?
Okay, yeah. So I mean, we know the lies. We know what they've been doing. So if you think about geopolitics, when did this start? Well, I think it started around the time of Rome. So when we talk about geopolitics, Rome took control of the Mediterranean. That's pretty obvious. And one of the locations they took over was Jerusalem, and more so like today is Israel. This area, this region. And
John,
what
this
happened?
is really, really interesting. I hate to cut you off, but this is so powerful what you're talking about. This is why we have all the problems we have today. Is when Jesus Christ was crucified. After that, the city of David had all things in common. The government of all things in common was in play for 39 years. Rome was so jealous of this leadership that they burnt the city down and corrupted the whole government of all things in common. And this is why then they took Peter's bones, buried it under the Vatican, and created the tithe snake church again, that everybody must tithe. Don't preach all things in common. You can't have it. You only can pay the tithe to live. We already had the government of all things in common. We just don't have anybody to stand up to the plate to possess the land once and for all, to possess heaven on earth. Everybody wants to milk the system, tax us, burden us. Nobody wants to real usher in heaven on earth and reel it in. And that's the real mystery, is they burnt down the city of all things in common, and we are overtaxed still to today because nobody will step up to the plate and really put their hands to the plow of heaven on earth. John?
Yeah, and we see like political deaths, like when Socrates was just saying, all I'm doing is questioning politics, and they make him drink hemlock, right? So in the time, in this ancient time, oh yeah, there was this Buddha guy 2,500 years ago. Then there was Socrates who got killed. And you got to think of the biggest political death of all time. Who is the biggest political death of all time? It's Jesus. This is not about religion. This is about shutting a guy up, censoring and shutting a guy up that spoke about freedom, truth, reality outside of a control matrix and system. That's why Rome ushered in his death in the Jerusalem, which they just took over, right? City of everything in common, which is the 12 tribes. So basically, once they did that, this political death, that's why, they can't end it. That's why when they found these ancient books buried in bottles in the mountains, right around World War II, they found the Gnostic text, the original stories where this Bible came from. They found these original stories, and then they were really in deep issues, right? Because there is not only is there the prior, they changed the King James version, and there was an original version, the Gnostic text, the Book of Thomas, the Book of John. These things were the original understanding, and when you see that political death, anytime someone stands up, they try to get assassinated. Look at Donald Trump. Look at JFK. Look at all the people from famous musicians like Jim Morrison to all these other people that had a foot in the door of power, had a stake in speaking directly to people. And then all they do is censor and ruin that. And that's like why the media is so powerful. They sit there, they create drama, they try to ridicule, destroy people, they try to destroy people's lives. And it all started with Jesus. If you think about that, 2,000 years ago, that's when this stuff really started. If you are in opposition, I forget the word, I think it's called a heretic, or basically, if you go against the establishment, you'll be burned at the cross. Look at Joan of Arc. Look at all these other people. Look at the Knights of the Templar. Look at all the good that stood up, which was destroyed. And why am I bringing that up? Because it's coming into play. This is the spiritual warfare. This is a spiritual warfare that we're up against. And when you understand archons, if you understand how deception happens, it's nothing more than programming you into believing something that's not real. The real teachings of the spiritual masters was to get people free, to realize that this reality is just as much as an illusion that it is concrete. And once you understand that, the spiritual realm lies in the unspoken, the unseen, in the void. That is the reality, right? So in every duality, on one side, that we live in our five senses, very animalistic: touch, sound, feel, taste, smell. But in reality, there's many other senses, and especially when it comes to spirituality, your connection with God, how close you are to truly healing yourself. These are the issues that we're really plagued with. And when we look at people, when we see people that are fighting for the ideology of the death, so it's like, have you guys ever heard of um, Stockholm syndrome? Stockholm syndrome is that you are a captive prisoner, and you start to side with your the person controlling you, because you've learned through behavior that siding with the person that is controlling you, killing you, taxing you, destroying you is a lot easier than really understanding truth, reality, having wisdom. So if you don't have wisdom, then you're basically subject to be controlled. And that's what we have here today. We have a black or white out in the populace. You're either subjected and you've sided with the Stockholm syndrome ruler, which
It
is
sounds
just
like
an
Hitler
ideology.
syndrome. Sounds like
Yeah, it's
Hitler
like
syndrome.
Hitler. You
How
hate
could so many
Hitler,
people just
but
follow
you're
like
fighting
dumb
for
shit?
Hitler, right? And the Hitler would be Obama and Biden. You realize that Hitler is more like Biden and Obama and Hillary and these types of people. And it's not Donald Trump, who is sticking in there strong, fighting for your life, protecting our country, making sure American workers have jobs. And no, they want to sit around and get a free paycheck from the government so that they can get a vote. Well, what you're part of the problem, right? Nothing in life is guaranteed, and you need to realize that life is what you make it. If you want to show up, show up. If you don't want to show up and you want to complain, do something about it. Create your own podcast. Go fight the war. Go fight politics. Don't just sit there with your social justice camera on, trying to mess with ICE agents who are protecting you. That's how. That's the real thing that I wanted to get at today too. Is just like the ideologies. If you stick by an ideology and you haven't realized that other people were in that same ideology that woke up, you may be stuck and victim in Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah, John, everything today we're talking about, this whole mysteries of these end times, the border peace, it seems like all the puzzle pieces are coming back into play for this global event that everybody's been waiting for. The book of Revelation, by all means, is probably the most feared book of prophecies in the entire earth. And we can be in the of any generation in the entire earth that's going to witness every global prophecy. I truly believe we're the chosen generation to witness heaven on earth, the end time harvest, all things in common again, victory over poverty, and this whole thing of Eden homecoming, not one man left behind government, the one inheritance, the new thing that God is doing over this entire earth, over gathering the governments. And this is could be the birth of this new board of peace, could be the birth of this gathering, John.
Yeah, and and also when we look at the spiritual war that we're fighting, call it like whatever you want, but I really recommend you, like, if you are a non-believer, you're agnostic. Look at Gnosticism, which means wisdom, internal wisdom, and you'll realize why these powerful figures like Jesus were so important, because he stood up. And there was a quote that I just don't like, but they say that, oh, Jesus died for your sins, right? He died in a political situation for standing up against evil. So realize you can say he died for your sins, but you can also say he was killed by the political elite, so that no one else, he would fear all of us, so that no one else would stand up, speak the truth. And that's what I really want people to do, is to stand up, speak your truth, because right now, more than ever, it's so much more important to get the truth out there, and speak your truth. Honestly, that's how we change the world, through one person at a time, through someone researching the pros and cons of every single issue and coming to their truth and understanding the other side. So If you understand the other side, or you came from the other side, they kind of call this the dark night of the soul. If you don't know the darkness, which is really this liberal hating agenda, you'll see that on the other side is a different opinion. And when you realize both sides, then you can have some wisdom, which is Gnosticism. Gain some wisdom, know both sides of the coin, and be impartial. Can you be impartial? Can you think impartial? Can you not go crazy and lose yourself when there's an extreme situation? And that's the difference between someone that's ultra successful and that's someone that's just led by their emotions. We all get opportunities and chances to make decisions and use that time to make important decisions, to make the proper decision. Don't use that time to get emotional and get out of control, right? Because that's when bad shit happens. So, this wisdom that I'm speaking about is the wisdom I wish everyone had. And it comes from a place of your heart, not your rational mind. And realize that that is the end of human suffering. That is my ultimate goal. That is our ultimate goal over here. That's why we've created so many health technologies. Put me up against anyone. Take our technology and put me against any other technology in the world, whether it's military, whether it's the top health technology in the world. You'll see what we've done. We've asked the right questions. We've been down this road so much that we've asked both sides of the aisle, both questions. We realize that people don't have this passion. And we're here today to make sure that you understand that your opinion does matter. You're not this person that means nothing. You're not a person here for no reason. There are no coincidences. You're a person that is important. You're a person that's your own creator. You are here for a reason, and that is the real message. You're not. You're not. We're not these people that are just stupid. We're not these people that are just not really here for no purpose. And it's so hard to get that through to people that it's very difficult. Basically, why can't you understand this? That you are significant, right? And then, like, if we all have the opinion that we're just low self esteem, we're not significant, someone else is in control, and we get dictated everything, and we're victims, we are all going to be liberals, and in a just a shit situation. So my goal and hope today is to bring you wisdom. And we do have a little bit longer. Don, could you break it down? I know we'll probably
Yeah,
go
I
back
like
on.
to share this about what you're just talking about, wisdom, to kind of end off with this. And God says throughout the Bible, wisdom is the principal thing. Above all, pursue wisdom first. And even in the Bible, John 1 1, it says, in the beginning was the word. And that really means a lot of people don't understand that. In the beginning, the very first thing before God's, whatever it was, the Big Bang, the very first thing that God created was wisdom with words. It was the wisdom how to build the sun, the wisdom how to build the solar system, the wisdom of how to build the universe, the wisdom on how to say, let there be light, so that we all live in this electron transport chain. That was the birth of the electron transport chain when God said, let there be light. It goes all the way to our body, to our electron transport chain, our 42 miles of nerves, our 7 octillion electrons. That's 27 zeros that were marinating in electrons day and night. But many people suffer from electron deficiency because they don't have an electron diet. Your first line of defense for your layers of healing is getting grounded. And again, if we can just share this one more time, if you don't have the book, 333 Benefits of Grounding, call us. We'll give you a free copy of the ebook. It has 15,000 links, 500 pictures. For $50, this will be one of the best reads you ever had in your life. We talk about the end times events. We break it down. Me and John share all these events about the benefits of grounding, electron nutrition, about the patents, EMF mitigation, all the way to the med beds of the future. It's a real true treasure in your healing cabinet. John?
Yeah, thank you for the wisdom, Don. We all need it, and maybe we're the conduit. Everyone wisdom is something that you can never have enough of. There is no end of wisdom. There is only that realizing that you are a student. You're just a student of this life and many other lives. But once you realize this, it takes all the pressure off. This is not an egotistical thing. This is just a reality based thing. And no one wants you to know this, because once you know this, all bets are off. The control system vanishes and you pull back the veil of reality. It's very hard to manipulate someone that has wisdom. It's very hard to control someone's mind and know what their true rights are as a human if they have wisdom. So let's consider this. We're going to go back live. We're going to talk about some of these more important issues again today, roughly sometime around lunch. So catch us live we're going to do some breaking news. Want to make sure that in 2026, you are fully aware of what's going on in the world, all the way from what Donald Trump's doing and what the news media tells you, and breaking it down. So much love over here. Like, share, comment this podcast. There's other people that need to hear it. Send it. Copy your liberal friends. Post this little link in there for them. Let them know that there's a new sheriff in town. It's called Wisdom and Reality. It's something that a lot of people are scared of. And there's no fear, but fear itself. So, and of course, like I always like to say, is like the truth shall set you free. And that's all we have today. Remember, like, share, comment our podcast. And join us here again just for a little bit after lunch. And we've got a lot more to talk about and a lot more that we would like to share. So also, anyone that posts in our comments some questions, we would be happy to answer them. So until next time, guys, thank you once again. This is the Baxter Effect Podcast. Your host, John Baxter. I'm here live with Don DeJesus, and we'll be right back.